How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, April 29th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Thursday, April 28th, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Taking a quick step back, taking a look at where we are in April. We are in the first round of the NBA playoffs, as there is still one series that is still in the first round. There are officially now 9 teams that are still left in the NBA, as there were 12 going into yesterday. And of course, by the end of today, there very well could be 8, and we could have the second seed already selected. As so far, the team with the home court advantage going in has won all 7 of the series that have been finished so far. Taking a look at what's going on with the MLB, of course, teams are starting to seed themselves out. And even though we are seeing teams approaching their 20th game of the season, there's still a team that has we're still looking at a team that still has only 3 wins so far in their first 19 games. And taking a look at what's going on with soccer overseas, we are just coming off of the first leg of the semifinal round of Europa League, and we are about to enter yet another weekend of very contentious soccer as teams are starting to seed themselves out for Champions League contention. So with that said, I'm going to take a look out to what happened in the NBA yesterday, as there were all game 6s. All of them would come to an end as the team on the road would end up ending the series. Starting off in Toronto, the 5th seed Toronto Raptors hosted the 4th seed Philadelphia 76ers for Game 6. The Sixers came into this matchup leading 3-1. They actually won the first 3 games of the series. Toronto would win Game 4 at home and then win Game 5 in Philly. Game 6, however, would be won by the 76ers in Toronto. They won it 132-97. They won it by 35 points after they outscored the Raptors by 20 in the third and then by 14 in the fourth quarter. They outscored the Raptors by 34 in the second half for this win. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown 5 seed Toronto Raptors were led in scoring in their final game of the season by their power forward off the bench, Chris Boucher. Their power forward out of Oregon will go on to finish with 25 points and 10 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 7 for 13 from the field. He would go on to shoot 9 for 10 from the free throw line as well. Their starting power forward, Pascal Siakam, would finish with 24 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals as he fouled out in 44 minutes. He would go on to shoot 9 for 17 from the field and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. The Raptors starting shooting guard out of Duke, Gary Trent Jr., finished with 19 points in 40 minutes. Their starting small forward in the NBA's Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes out of Florida State, went on to finish with 18 points and 7 rebounds, as well as 5 fouls in 35 minutes. In his last game of his Rookie of the Year season, he would shoot 8 for 20 from the field and 2 for 7 from 3. On the winning end of this matchup, the 4 seed Philadelphia 76ers were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Joel Embiid. Embiid finished with 33 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 36 minutes. He shot 12 for 18 from the field and 9 for 10 from the free throw line. The Sixers starting point guard, Tyrese Maxey out of Kentucky, finished with 25 points and 8 assists in 44 minutes. He shot 8 for 16 from the field, 5 for 12 from 3, and made all 4 of his free throws. The Sixers' elite starting shooting guard, James Harden, finished with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 15 assists in 42 minutes. He shot 7 for 12 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and he would make all 6 of his free throws. The Sixers starting power forward, Tobias Harris, finished with 19 points and 11 rebounds in 38 minutes. He shot 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, and he made both of his free throws. The Sixers starting small forward, Danny Green, finished with 12 points and 5 rebounds in 29 minutes. And with this win, the 4 seed Philadelphia 76ers will advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs, where they will face off against the 1 seed Miami Heat. Their first game against the Heat is scheduled for May 2nd. So that's going to be a very big matchup between these 2 teams, as the Miami Heat should have home court advantage. So they will go on. And with this loss, the 5 seed Toronto Raptors will finish their season after finishing with a 48-34 record in the regular season. And after having lost or having only won 2 of the 6 games in this series. With this, they were effectively the 4th team, I believe, that was eliminated from the Eastern Conference, if I'm not mistaken. And once their series was done, of course, we went on to the second Game 6 of the night, the 1-8 matchup in the Western Conference, as the 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans hosted the 1 seed Suns. Suns came into this matchup with a 3-2 series lead after winning Game 5 in Phoenix in front of their home fans. They would go on to win Game 6, 115-109. They won it by 6 points after they had to overcome their 3-point deficit entering the fourth quarter. They outscored the Pelicans by 9 in the fourth quarter to win this game and win this series. On the losing end of this matchup, in their final game of the 2021-22 season, the 8 seed out of the West, New Orleans Pelicans, were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward out of Duke, Brandon Ingram. He went on to finish with 21 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, and 6 turnovers in his final game in 44 minutes. He shot 8 for 19 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and made all 3 of his free throws. The Pelicans starting small forward out of Alabama, Herbert Jones, finished with 16 points and 4 steals in 40 minutes. Their starting shooting guard and their midseason acquisition, CJ McCollum, finished with 16 points in 33 minutes. Their power forward off the bench, Larry Nance Jr., finished with 15 points and 8 rebounds in 21 minutes. Their shooting guard off the bench, Trey Murphy III, finished with 12 points in 22 minutes. Their point guard off the bench, Jose Alvarado, finished with 11 points and 2 steals in 31 minutes. Their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, finished with 10 points and 8 rebounds in 27 minutes in what would be the Pelicans' last game of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the top seed and NBA regular season champs Phoenix Suns were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard, Chris Paul. Paul finished with 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists in 36 minutes. He shot a perfect 14 for 14 from the field. He made his only 3-pointer of the night. He shot a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He did not miss a shot all game. One of the virtuoso all-time playoff performances to clinch a playoff series against the team that drafted him, by the way. The Suns starting center out of Arizona, DeAndre Ayton, finished with 22 points and 7 rebounds in 40 minutes. He shot 10 for 12 from the field and made both of his free throws. Their elite starting shooting guard, Devin Booker, finished with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 32 minutes in his first game back. He shot 5 for 12 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and made both of his free throws. The Suns starting small forward, Mikal Bridges, finished with 18 points and 2 steals in 44 minutes. Their small forward off the bench, Cameron Johnson, finished with 13 points in 24 minutes. With this win, the first seed Phoenix Suns will advance to the second round of the playoffs, where they will face off against the team that won the last game of the night, the Dallas Mavericks. I'll get to that matchup in a second. And that matchup, it looks like it is going to be set for May 2nd, as of course that will be another big matchup to look forward to, as that would be set for Monday. And then, of course, with this loss, the 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans will finish their season with a 36-46 record. Not to mention they had won the 2 play-in games to make it there after they had gone all the way to beat the Spurs and the Clippers to make it there. They will go on to win only 2 in this series, as this would be the end of their year. Their next game should be in October, November, after what's going to be quite the offseason, what could be a very interesting offseason for them. And of course, with this, they were effectively the 6th team eliminated from the playoffs. And once we went to the final game 6 of the day, we would, of course, see the 3rd team eliminated, as the 5 seed Utah Jazz hosted the 4 seed Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks came into this series holding a 3-2 series lead after they had won Game 5 by 25 at home. They would go on to win Game 6, 98-96, in order to, of course, win this series and advance to the next round. They won by 2 after they outscored the Jazz by 17 points in the 3rd quarter alone. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Utah Jazz were led in scoring in their final game of the season by their elite starting shooting guard out of Louisville, Donovan Mitchell. In his last game of the year, he finished with 23 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 turnovers in 39 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. The Jazz starting small forward Bojan Bogdanovic finished with 19 points in 36 minutes. Their point guard off the bench, Jordan Clarkson, finished with 15 points and 6 rebounds in 29 minutes. Their starting point guard, Mike Conley, finished with 11 points and 8 assists in 31 minutes. And then their elite starting center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 10 points and 12 rebounds in 36 minutes. He would shoot 3 for 6 from the field, and he would shoot a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. On the winning end of this matchup, the 4-seed Dallas Mavericks were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Luka Doncic out of Slovenia, as well as their starting point guard and former college champ, Jalen Brunson. Doncic finished with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 42 minutes. He shot 8 for 21 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws. Their starting point guard, Jalen Brunson, finished with 24 points and 2 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 4 for 6 from the free throw line. Their point guard off the bench, Spencer Dinwiddie, finished with 19 points in 32 minutes. Their starting power forward, Dorian Finney-Smith, finished with 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 46 minutes. He went on to shoot 7 for 13 from the field and 4 for 9 from 3. With this win, the 4-seed Dallas Mavericks have, of course, advanced to the second round of this playoffs, where they will face off against the 1-seed Phoenix Suns, who also were able to advance yesterday. This matchup is set up for the 2nd of May, as, of course, that's going to be a highly anticipated matchup. And with that said, that is what's happening in the end. We're taking a look at what is going on today. Today is going to be what is going to be Game 6 for the last remaining series in Game 1 that is still active, or I guess in the first round that's still active, as the 2-seed in the West, the Memphis Grizzlies, are going to go to Minneapolis to face off against the 7-seed Minnesota Timberwolves. The winner of this matchup should be set to play against the 3-seed Golden State Warriors. Taking a look at how this series is going, this series was initially tied at 2, and then the Grizzlies ended up winning Game 5 by 2, a very big one. The Grizzlies would have to win Game 6 in order to make it to the next round. The Timberwolves have to win Game 6 and Game 7 if they want to advance to the next round and face off against the Warriors. But so far, that's what's going on there. And once these matchups are set for the second round, I will, of course, do a preview round. But as of right now, there are 9 teams that are still actively competing for the NBA title, as 7 teams from the playoff round from the first round have already been eliminated. Taking a look now to see what is going on with the NHL, just for a really quick glance over. Today is the last day of at least the NHL season where at least most of these teams are playing against one another. So, of course, that's going to be very big, as the last NHL game should be set for Sunday. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB now, starting off in Cincinnati with one of the coldest teams in baseball. The Reds would go on to host the San Diego Padres. In this matchup, the Padres would eventually go on to score 4 runs in the 6th inning, take their lead after the Reds actually held a lead at one point. They took the lead off of a Ha-Sung Kim 3-run double and ran away with the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Cincinnati Reds would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Tyler Mahle. Mahle allowed 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 2. With this walk, Tyler Mahle is 1-3. In the Reds batting lineup, their designated hitter, Mike Moustakas, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. He was the only player with a multi-hit game. On the winning end of this matchup, the San Diego Padres would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Nick Martinez. Martinez would pick up his first win of the year. He would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 5 batters and walk 2. With this win, he's now 1-2 for the Padres this season. The save would end up going to the Padres closer for the day, Taylor Rogers. Rogers would allow no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning. He would strike out a batter as he picked up his 7th save of the year. In the Padres batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Manny Machado, would go 4 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as well. Not to mention their third baseman, Ha-Seong Kim, will go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the San Diego Padres are 13-7. That is the third best record in the National League West, win percentage wise. They're tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for the fifth best record in baseball or tied for the fourth in the National League right now. They've now won their last 3 games, and they have now won 8 of their last 10. With this win, they are now sitting half a game behind the division-leading San Francisco Giants, as they only just have one more loss than the Giants. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 3-16. That is the worst record in the National League Central, the worst record in the National League, and they have the worst record in baseball. They're the only team who's won less than 20% of their games. They've lost their last 3. They've lost 9 of their last 10. Looking at their 3-game losing streak, it is the second longest active losing streak in the National League. Only the Nats have a longer losing streak. The Cincinnati Reds are now trailing the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers by 9.5 games in the division, and they haven't even played 20 games yet. Taking a look at what happened in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers would end up beating the Pirates 3-2. The Pirates were leading 2-1 going into the top of the 9th. It would be a 2-run single from former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen, who played for the Pirates, as he had all 3 RBIs to beat his former club. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates would be led out by their starting pitcher Jose Quintana. Quintana would allow 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 9 on the day, but the loss would go to the Pirates' closer for the day, as their closer was Chris Stratton. Chris Stratton would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 9 innings that he pitched. He would pick up his first blown save of the year, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Pirates' batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. On the winning end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Brewers would be led out by their starting pitcher, Freddie Peralta. Peralta would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 7 batters on the day. The win for the Brewers will go to their setup relief pitcher, Hobie Milner. Milner allowed no earned runs in the 8th inning, as he would strike out a batter. This would be his second win of the year. He's 2-0. The save would go to the Brewers' elite closer for the day, Devin Williams. Devin Williams would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning, as he struck out all 3 of the batters he faced. This is his first save of 2022. In the Brewers' batting lineup, their designated hitter and former National League MVP for the Pirates, Andrew McCutchen, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. That was his first home run of the season. Also for the Pirates, their second baseman, Colton Wong, went 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 13-7. That is the best record in the National League Central. They are currently tied with the San Diego Padres for the 4th best record in the National League at the moment. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 8 of their last 10. They are sitting a full game ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals, who are holding the 2nd best record in the division, as the Brewers just have 2 more wins than the Cardinals at this moment. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are 8-11. They are tied with the Chicago Cubs for the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've now lost their last 3 games. They are tied with the Cincinnati Reds for the 2nd longest active losing streak in the National League. Only the Nationals have a longer losing streak. And also the Rockies. I missed the Rockies. So they're tied for the 3rd longest losing streak in the National League. The Pirates have lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 4.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers at the moment. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies went on to host the Colorado Rockies. They would go on to win this game 7-1. The Phillies' lone run would come in the 7th. The Rockies' lone run came in the 7th, as they really had no chance of winning. The Phillies would score 7 runs on 4 earned hits. With that said, taking a look at what happened on the Colorado side on the losing end, the loss would be attributed to their starting pitcher, Austin Gomber. Gomber allowed 3 runs off of 3 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters, and then he would go on to walk 1. With this loss, he's 1-2. And on the Phillies end of this matchup, the win would be given to their starting pitcher, Zach Wheeler. This would be his first win of the year. He would allow no earned runs off of one hit in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 4. With this win, Zach Wheeler is 1-3 on the season. In the Phillies batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their third baseman, Alec Bohm, would go 1-for-4 with 2 RBIs as he hit his second home run of the season. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 10-10. That is the third best record in the National League East. They've won their last 4 games. That is the second longest active winning streak in the National League behind the Miami Marlins. They've won 6 of their last 10 games. The Phillies are currently trailing the division-leading New York Mets by 4 games right now. With this loss, the Colorado Rockies are 10-9. That is currently the 4th best record in the National League West. They've lost their last 4 games. Their 4-game losing streak is the second longest active losing streak in the National League. Only the Nationals have a longer losing streak. The Rockies have lost 6 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 3 whole games behind the division-leading San Francisco Giants. Jumping out to Washington, D.C., the Nationals hosted the Miami Marlins. The Marlins would end up beating the Nationals 3-2. After the Nats scored the first run of the game, the Marlins would tie it off of a John Bearty double in the top of the 3rd. And then they would take the lead off of a Jesus Sanchez single in the top of the 7th. And then off of a wild pitch, they scored another run. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Washington Nationals would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Patrick Corbin. Corbin would allow 3 runs off of 4 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He struck out 8 batters and then walked 2. With this loss, Patrick Corbin is 0-4. In the Nats batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Miami Marlins would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 2. With this win, he is now 1-3 on the season, and the save would end up going to the Marlins closer, Cole Sulser. He allowed no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched as he finished off the 8th and pitched the entire 9th. He would strike out 2 batters and walk 1, and he would pick up his first save of the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. However, their second baseman, Bearty, would finish with an RBI, and so would their pinch-hitting center fielder, Jesus Sanchez. With this win, the Miami Marlins are 10-8. That is the second best record in the National League East. They've won their last 5 games. They've won 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 3 full games behind the division-leading New York Mets within the division. They are holding the longest active winning streak in the National League. Currently, they are tied with the LA Angels for the 3rd longest active losing or winning streak in the National League at the moment. And like I said, they are sitting 3 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 6-15. That is the worst record in the National League East and the second worst record in the National League. They've lost their last 8 games. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their 8-game losing streak is the longest active losing streak in the National League and in the majors right now. They are sitting 8.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets at the moment. Jumping out to the Bronx, the New York Yankees hosted the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees would end up beating the Orioles 10-5. After the Orioles did lead 2-0 at one point, the Yankees took the lead in the 5th inning and just ran away with it off of an RBI single from Anthony Rizzo in the middle of a 4-run inning. On the losing end of this matchup, the Baltimore Orioles would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Bruce Zimmerman. Zimmerman allowed 4 runs off of 5 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 1, and with this loss, he's 1-1. In the Orioles batting lineup, their first baseman, Trey Mancini, went 2-for-5 with an RBI and a run. Their left fielder, Austin Hayes, went 4-for-5 with an RBI and a run as well. Their second baseman, Rougned Odor, went 3-for-5 with an RBI and a run. And then their center fielder, Ryan McKenna, would eventually go 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Their third baseman, Kelvin Gutierrez, would end up going 2-for-5 with an RBI. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Yankees would see the start go to Jameson Taillon. Taillon would allow 2 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 4.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 1. The win would go to the Yankees' first relief pitcher, Miguel Castro. He allowed no earned runs off of one hit as he finished the fifth inning. He would strike out a batter and even walk one. With this win, he's now 2-0. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite right fielder Aaron Judge would go 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 5th home run of the season. Their first baseman Anthony Rizzo would go 2 for 5 with an RBI as well. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 13-6. That is the best record in the American League East. They've won their last 6 games. That is the second longest active winning streak in the American League and in the majors. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. And giving context, only the Minnesota Twins have a longer active winning streak than the Yankees right now. The Yankees are sitting half a game ahead of the second place Toronto Blue Jays in their division right now. And with this record, they are now holding the best record in the American League as a whole. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 6-13. That is the worst record in the American League East, and they are tied with the Texas Rangers for the worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 4 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and they are sitting 7 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. And taking a look at what happened in Tampa, the Tampa Bay Rays hosted the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners scored the first run of the game in the first inning. The Rays would tie it in the bottom of the second off of an RBI single from Brett Phillips, and then it would be an Brett Phillips RBI single in the bottom of the 7th to give the Rays the go-ahead run. On the losing end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Chris Flexen. Flexen allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 6.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 2. With this loss, Chris Flexen is 1-3. And nobody in the Mariners batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, as that would be attributed to great pitching from Tampa. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Rays would be led out by their starting pitcher, Jeffrey Springs. Springs allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits in the 2.2 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters, and the win would go to the Rays' third relief pitcher on the day, J.P. Feyereisen. Feyereisen allowed no earned runs in the 2 innings that he pitched, which would be the 7th and 8th innings. He would strike out 2 batters in that span, and he picked up a 1-0 record with this win. The loss would go to the Rays' closer, Ryan Thompson. Thompson allowed no earned runs as he recorded the last out, and the last out would be a strikeout. This would be a second save of the year. And in the Rays batting lineup, their first baseman, Yandy Diaz, went 2 for 3. Their center fielder in this matchup, Brett Phillips, would go 2 for 3 with both of the team's RBIs. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are 11-8. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 2 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees at the moment. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are 11-8. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've now lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 3 of their last 10. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. Jumping out to Minneapolis, one of the league's hottest team, the Minnesota Twins, would host the Detroit Tigers. They would win this game 7-1, as the Tigers never really got a chance to take the lead at all. Of course, the Twins would have a 4-run 5th inning as well, as they would see 3 runs scored off of a double from Carlos Correa. On the losing end of this matchup, the Detroit Tigers would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Tarik Skubal. Tarik Skubal allowed 6 runs off of 6 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 2 on the day. With this loss, he's 1-2 on the 2022 season. In the Tigers batting lineup, their designated hitter, Robbie Grossman, went 3 for 5. Their third baseman, Harold Castro, would end up going 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Minnesota Twins were led out by their starting pitcher, Bailey Ober. He allowed 1 earned run off of 6 hits in the 3.2 innings that he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and then would walk 2. The win will go to their first relief pitcher, Cody Stashak. Stashak will go on to allow no earned runs off of 2 hits as he finished the 4th inning and pitched the entire 5th. He would go on to strike out a batter as well, and with this win, he's now 1-0 on the season. The save would end up going to the Twins' closer for the day, as their closer was Griffin Jax. Jax allowed no earned runs in the last 3 innings of the game, as he only allowed 2 hits. He would strike out 2 batters and then eventually walk 1. Griffin Jax now has 1 save on the 2022 season. In the Twins batting lineup, their elite shortstop Carlos Correa will go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their third baseman Gio Urshela will go 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run as well. Their designated hitter Trevor Larnach will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their center fielder in this matchup, Gilberto Celestino, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are 11-8. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've now won their last 7 games. That is, of course, the longest active winning streak in all of the MLB right now. So they are, of course, completely surging. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They sit 3 games ahead of the second place Kansas City Royals in their division at the moment. So with that said, taking a look at what is going down with the Tigers. With this loss, they are now 6-12. That is the worst record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 5 games. That is the second longest active losing streak in the National League at this moment, or in the American League at this moment, as only the Guardians have a longer active losing streak than the Tigers. The Tigers have lost 8 of their last 10 games. They sit 4.5 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins. Taking a look at what happened in Arlington, the Texas Rangers hosted the defending American League champs Houston Astros. The Astros would end up beating the Rangers 3-2 as the game was scoreless until the 7th inning. After the score was tied at 1 after the 7th, it will be a 2-run home run from Kyle Tucker that will be the difference in this matchup. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Texas Rangers were led out by their starting pitcher, Martin Perez. Perez would allow 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters. The loss, however, would go to the Rangers' first relief pitcher, Matt Bush. Matt Bush would go on to allow 2 earned runs off of 1 hit in the 8th inning as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he is now 0-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their elite shortstop Corey Seager went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his second home run in a Rangers uniform. On the winning end of this matchup, the Houston Astros would see the win go to their goated starting pitcher Justin Verlander. Verlander allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 8 batters, and with this win, he is now 2-1 on the season. And then, of course, the save would end up going to the Astros closer for the day, Rafael Montero. Montero would allow 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter and even walked 1. This would be his first save of the year. In the Astros batting lineup, no one on their team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their pinch-hitting outfielder, Kyle Tucker, will go on to hit his 4th home run of the season, though. With this win, the Houston Astros are 10-9. That is the 3rd best record in the AL West, as they are tied with the Oakland Athletics. The Astros have now won their last 3 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. At the moment, they are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 6-13. That is the worst record in the American League West. They are tied with the Baltimore Orioles for the worst record in the American League. The Rangers have lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They are sitting 6.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels at this moment. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago White Sox hosted the Kansas City Royals from within their own division. Going into the extra innings, the score was tied at 2. The Royals would score 3 runs in the top of the 10th to win this game 5-2. They scored 1 run off of a pass ball, and then Kyle Isbell's 2-run single would, of course, put the game out of reach. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago White Sox would be led out by their starting pitcher, Michael Kopech. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and then eventually go on to walk 4. The loss would end up going to the White Sox closer for the day, Aaron Bummer. Aaron Bummer would go on to allow 3 runs off of 1 hit as he would pitch the entire 9th and then get pulled in the 10th. He would go on to strike out 2 batters, and he would go on to walk 2 as well. And then on the winning end, or I guess in their batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than one hit. That would be attributed to great pitching from the Kansas City Royals. For the Kansas City Royals, the start would go to Brad Keller. Keller would allow one earned run off of 3 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 3 batters on the day as he went on to walk no batters. The win will go to Kansas City setup relief pitcher Scott Barlow. Scott Barlow will go on to allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2 batters and walked 1. With this win, he's now 2-0. The save would end up going to the Royals closer Taylor Clark. Clark allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning as he struck out 2. This would be his first save of the year. In the Royals batting lineup, their left fielder Andrew Benintendi will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their right fielder Kyle Isbell went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 7-10. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've won 5 of their last 10. They are sitting 3 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at this moment. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 7-11. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 3.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins, who are still sitting at the top of the division, holding the longest active winning streak in baseball right now. Taking a look at what is going on in Toronto, the Blue Jays would go on to host the Boston Red Sox. They would pull off a 1-0 win after their lone run came off of an Alejandro Kirk single. And on the losing end of this matchup, the shutout Boston Red Sox were led off and would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Garrett Whitlock. Garrett Whitlock would go on to allow a run off of 4 hits in the 3 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 2 batters and even walk 2. With this loss, he is now 1-1 on the season. In the Red Sox batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit on the day. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Toronto Blue Jays would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Alek Manoah. Manoah allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would go on to strike out 7 batters, and he would also go on to walk 1. With this win, Alek Manoah is 4-0. The save would end up going to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano. Romano allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning. He would strike out a batter as he picked up his 9th save of the year. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their catcher, Alejandro Kirk, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 13-7. That is the second best record in the American League East. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting half a game behind the division-leading New York Yankees at this moment. And with this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 8-12. That is the 4th best record in the American League East as they've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees at the moment. So that is what's going on there. Taking a look at what's going on in the American League West, the division-leading LA Angels hosted the Cleveland Guardians. The Angels would go on to beat the Guardians 4-1 after scoring 3 runs in the 3rd inning. And then on the losing end of this matchup, the Cleveland Guardians would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Cal Quantrill. Quantrill allowed 3 runs off of 4 hits in 6 innings. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 3. With this loss, Cal Quantrill is 1-1. In the Guardians batting lineup, their catcher, Austin Hedges, will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Los Angeles Angels would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Reed Detmers. Detmers allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 1. With his win, he's now 1-1. The save would go to the Angels closer, Raisel Iglesias. He allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9 innings that he pitched as he struck out a batter. This would be his 5th save of the year. In the Angels batting lineup, their center fielder, Brandon Marsh, went 3 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Los Angeles Angels are 13-7. That is the best record in the American League West. They are tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for the 2nd best record in the American League. They've now won their last 5 games. That is the 3rd longest active winning streak in the American League. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They sit a game and a half ahead of the 2nd place Seattle Mariners in their division. With this loss, the Cleveland Guardians are 7-12. That is the fourth best record in the American League Central. They've now lost their last 7 games. That is the longest active losing streak in the American League. The only team with a longer losing streak than them in the majors are the Washington Nationals at this point. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They are currently sitting 4 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins at this point. Taking a look at what happened in Atlanta, the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves hosted the Chicago Cubs. The Braves will go on to beat the Cubs 5-1. The score was tied at 1 after the second. The Braves would take the lead in the third off of a solo home run from Dansby Swanson, and they ran away with it. On the losing end of this matchup, the Chicago Cubs would see the loss go to their starting pitcher and former World Series starting pitcher with the Braves, Drew Smyly. Drew Smyly, the reigning World Series champ, would allow 2 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4.2 innings he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters, and then he would go on to walk 1. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Atlanta Braves would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits in the 7 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 8 batters and then walk 4. With this win, Kyle Wright is 3-0. In the Braves batting lineup, their designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his first home run of the season. Their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 1 for 5 in his first game back. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are 9-11. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've won 4 of their last 10 games. They now are currently sitting 5 full games behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are 8-11. They are tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates for the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 4.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers at this point. And then, of course, last but not least, jumping out to St. Louis, seeing what happened just a block away from the Gateway Arch, the St. Louis Cardinals would host the Arizona Diamondbacks. They would win this game 8-3 by scoring the first 8 runs of this game. On the losing end of this matchup, the almost shutout Arizona Diamondbacks will see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Humberto Castellanos. He allowed 5 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 2 innings that he pitched, as he would walk 1 batter. With this loss, Castellanos is 1-1. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Nico Ahmed. He went 2 for 4 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown St. Louis Cardinals would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Dakota Hudson. Hudson would allow no earned runs and only 1 hit in the 6 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 4 batters and then walk 3. With this win, he's now 2-1. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their second baseman, Tommy Edman, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. Their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, went 2 for 4. Their center fielder, Harrison Bader, went 2 for 3 with 2 runs. And then their catcher, Yadier Molina, went 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 11-7. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They are now sitting a game behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 8-12. That is the worst record in the National League West. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games, and they are now sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading San Francisco Giants. That is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. And taking a look at what is going on today, there are going to be no primetime matchups. We're starting from the very top at 6:35. At that time, Zach Thompson and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host the San Diego Padres, led by their elite starting pitcher, Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish enters this matchup with a 1-1 record, holding a 4.43 ERA. At 6:40 in Lone Depot Park, Elise Hernandez and the Miami Marlins are going to host Matt Brash and the Seattle Mariners. At 7:05, Kyle Bradish and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Rich Hill and the Boston Red Sox. At 7:07, Yusei Kikuchi in the American League East runner-up. Right now, Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Jose Urquidy and the defending American League champs Houston Astros. At 7:10, Lucas Giolito and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Noah Syndergaard and the LA Angels. At 7:10, Corey Kluber and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Dylan Bundy and the Minnesota Twins. At 7:10, Tyler McGill and the New York Mets are going to host Aaron Nola and the Philadelphia Phillies. At 8:05, Garrett Richards and the Texas Rangers are going to host Ian Anderson and the defending World Series champs Atlanta Braves. At 8:10, Adrian Hauser and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs. And then, of course, at the same time, at 8:10, Chris Bubich and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Nestor Cortez and the New York Yankees. At 8:15, Adam Wainwright and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Madison Bumgarner and the Arizona Diamondbacks. At 8:40, Antonio Senzatella and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Hunter Green and the Cincinnati Reds, who hold the worst record in baseball right now. At 9:40, Frankie Montas and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Aaron Savali and the Cleveland Guardians at the moment. At 10:10, the LA Dodgers, led by Tyler Anderson, are going to host the Detroit Tigers, led by Tyler Alexander. And then at 10:15 on Apple TV Plus in Oracle Park, Alex Wood and the San Francisco Giants are going to host Aaron Sanchez and the Washington Nationals. That's everything going on with the MLB. Taking a look at what's going on with the NFL, of course, looking at what's going on in the NFL draft, the number one overall pick in yesterday's draft was, of course, Trayvon Walker, the defensive end and big player, edge runner out of Georgia. He was taken by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's pretty much what I have for you with in the States. Taking a look at what happened with soccer overseas. Yesterday were a couple of Europa League matchups. And also, in addition, there was a pretty big Premier League matchup. But in this matchup, Manchester United would end up drawing with Chelsea, as Chelsea's goal would come from Alonso in the 60th minute. Cristiano Ronaldo would see his goal come in the 62nd minute. With this draw, it looks as though it looks like Chelsea is still sitting third. They are sitting 14 points behind second place Liverpool, as they have 6 games left in their schedule. They sit 7 points ahead of fifth place Tottenham at the moment, with one less game played than Tottenham. Man U sits 4 points below Tottenham with one more game played than Tottenham. They sit 2 points ahead of West Ham, as Man U is still, of course, trying to compete to qualify for Europa League. So that's what's going on there. Speaking of Europa League, looking at the first leg of yesterday's matchups, our RB Leipzig was able to beat Rangers 1-0, as their lone goal came from Angelino. The second leg will, of course, be played in Scotland. The first leg of the other matchup for Europa League would see West Ham United host Eintracht Frankfurt from Germany. First goal was scored in the first minute from Ansgar Knauf, and then after West Ham was scored in the 21st minute from Michael Antonio. Eintracht Frankfurt's goal from Daichi Kamada in the 54th minute would give Frankfurt the advantage, and they are now holding a 2-1 advantage going into the second leg, which should be held on their home field in Germany. But that's what's going on there. Taking a look at what's going on today as we ease our way into yet another weekend. The biggest matchup is going to take place in France, as the already Ligue 1 champs PSG are going to face off against Strasbourg at Strasbourg. PSG sits 13 points clear of second place Marseille with 4 games left in their schedule. Strasbourg has the 6th best record in France. So Strasbourg actually has a lot that they're playing for right now, but I would imagine they're not going to let themselves lose at Strasbourg. And then taking a look at what's going on in La Liga, it looks as though Sevilla is going to be hosting Cádiz. Sevilla is holding the 3rd best record in Spain. A win here would temporarily put them a win or a draw would temporarily put them over Barcelona, considering they are tied with Barcelona at the moment. Anything other a loss would be very good for them. That is everything that I have for you for today, for Friday, April 29th, 2022. Once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow for Saturday's episode for April 30th. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I will, of course, navigate through the world of sports with you guys one day at a time. Sorry if I butchered any names. I do eventually plan on getting them right. I want to thank the ESPN, the NBA, NHL, and FIFA websites, even the NFL website, for giving me all the facts and figures that I need, because, of course, without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I want to thank everyone for listening, and I do hope all is well. I'll catch you with another piece tomorrow. Thanks for listening, and peace out.